Hello, everybody. This is Macky again with Hidden Threads. We're back. How about you, Victoria? You here?
I'm back.
She's back. Today, we're going to get into a variety of topics. We're going to talk about adultery cases, which is the number one case we probably work besides child custody. That's a whole other episode. But today, Victoria's got some questions and some discussion topics we're going to get into about those adultery cases, right?
For sure.
What are we talking about today?
Adultery is super interesting. I think a lot of people are curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime someone comes up to me and asks questions, the first question that comes out is, what percentage of the cases are men versus women doing the cheating?
Men versus women. So we've been in business for 6 years now as a standalone company. And I'd say we probably worked 500 adultery cases, and it's almost split right down the middle, 50-50. So we were discussing before we started today, and it's like 1 month we'll have the woman cheaters, and then the next month we'll have the man cheaters. So it's like they don't all go at once.
Right.
It's like they all get together, the cheaters, and say, hey, February's our month. What do you think?
That's so funny. I was surprised when I first started working for you. I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but I was surprised to see how even the playing field was, for sure. I think going into it, I thought, I'm also a woman, but I was like, probably you would think it would be men doing most of the cheating. At least I did, but it's totally not.
Yeah, it's a split thing, man. When I first started this on my own, I was like, we'll see. I thought it was going to be mostly men too, because men are terrible according to society, right?
Right.
But we get a good mix of women and
Yeah.
men, and they all have a variety of reasons why.
For sure.
People have marital problems and they step out, and unfortunately, we're here for it. We want to make sure our client gets a fair cut of the proceeds when it comes down to it. So
For
we help
sure.
those lawyers out. So
Absolutely. And I know it is serious because divorce is like not a funny subject and it's like the worst time of these people's lives, but it can also be funny. Like when you are working it and you're in it, doing it every single day, you find the funny moments.
yeah, so these people get it enthralled by cheating, right? Number one, there's a sexual aspect, there's excitement, right? But they're hiding, right? It's like playing adult hide and seek. They're trying to be sneaky and get away with it.
Yeah.
And they do some funny stuff to do it, and they think they can't be caught, but we typically catch them if it's going on. So
what's the funniest adultery moment you've had?
well, some of the more exciting ones we had was back during the COVID pandemic.
Okay.
Most people, they get together, they go to hotels, but the hotels were closed up. They didn't have a lot of vacancy.
Right.
So people had to go back to the old school parking days. And we caught a bunch of them that year in the Lowe's parking lot.
So romantic.
It is. Who says romance is dead, Victoria? I mean, the nothing like it, beside an empty shed and a sack full of feed at the Lowe's parking lot in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? But they could park. Lowe's and Home Depot have those. They have the sheds, they have the trailers, and they have stuff for the lawnmowers out there, and you could pull their car up in there. It's hard to see them. They thought, but
Got you.
we would catch them a lot back in there. It was pretty funny.
That is funny.
They'd pull back and steam the windows up, just like they're back in high school. These are 40, 50-year-old people. Like, something you'd think teenagers would do.
Right.
I mean, they're young people. So
it's I guess the majority of the adultery cases we're working, it is majority older folks.
yeah,
right?
so the cases we do are typically people that have money, right? They're fighting over if the divorce goes down, they're going to be arguing over a significant amount of money, usually $250,000 or more. A nice home that's probably paid for. They're in their 40s, 50s typically. Been married 17 to 25 years, so there's a lot of assets that are built up that they're going to be arguing over.
Right.
And the reason they hire us is they want to go out and prove it, because their lawyer is going to try to sway that leverage their way. A lot of people say, well, the judge is going to split it down the middle. If it doesn't make it that far, they will. A lot of times we get such compelling evidence, though, of adultery that it doesn't even make it to court. They make some kind of arrangement beforehand. And because our evidence is compelling, once this evidence hits the court system, it becomes public record. Anybody can search it.
Gotcha.
And they don't want this stuff out there.
Right.
So if they settle out of court, it just shows up as, hey, we got divorced. It doesn't show any of the evidence. So
Okay.
a lot of time it is compelling.
So does it weigh on you? Like when you've been doing it for a long time, does it ever like get to you? Do you ever get really, I don't know.
So the adultery only cases, If it's just adultery, kids are already out of the house.
Yeah.
It's still terrible, right? We
Yeah.
want our client to get a fair shake. Do not upset me as bad. Now, we get adultery cases going on where there's little kids involved. It's going to be splitting that house up. It does bother me more.
For sure.
I came from a broken home. I know you did. You came from a messed up home
For sure.
because of different things. Adults not acting right.
Right.
Adults not adulting, we call it, right?
Right.
And it does mess with a kid's childhood. They start blaming themselves. They don't know what's happening, right? Mommy and daddy's split up now, all those things. So, but it is fun to catch the cheater.
Absolutely.
So,
speaking on that, from your TikTok account, Macky Outlaw TikTok account, you have people on there saying, you're splitting up families. How horrible of you. What's your response?
Yeah, that's I get that a lot on my social media.
Yeah.
Facebook and TikTok, wherever. They say, oh, you must love splitting up families. I don't split the families up.
Right.
People hire me so they can get a fair deal in court or outside of court.
Correct.
That person that decided to step out on a marriage is the one splitting the family up.
100%.
Right? And people say, oh, it's none of your business. Well, I got paid to make it my business. So
correct.
How about we don't cheat on our spouses?
Yes, exactly. That's totally not you doing the splitting up on that. Yeah.
One thing that I've always thought interesting was if you are in such a bad marriage, if things aren't so great, why not just get divorced?
Right.
Let's make a deal and get divorced.
Right.
Well, we got to run around and do all this stuff behind people's back. I don't get it. So
agreed. Okay, so we work with older clients a lot. So what's your tips for like young people wanting to get married? Do you have any pointers or
young people wanting to get married?
Yeah, like someone who's interested in getting married and is a little nervous. Like, do you have any pointers as a person who's been in this business for a long time?
Wait, Victoria, is that you asking the question?
I'm about to get married too.
Everybody, Victoria, she got the question popped here a few weeks ago, and she said yes.
I did.
It's crazy talk. Anyway, so yeah, show that rock off. Show that rock off.
I mean, do you think it's a good idea to you think it's wrong to background check people you're talking to? Do you think it's...
I don't think it's wrong. So we get those calls too. You feel, by the way, if you call our office, Victoria's probably the first one you're going to talk to.
Yeah.
Because she has a nice radio voice. No,
debatable.
But anyways, I do say yes, background check. Anywhere from $80 to $225, it's worth it to see. I would tell the person, hey, I'm going to run a background check on you. If they push back on that, that's a red flag big time.
For sure.
Why are they pushing back on it? What do you get to hide, right?
True.
I would encourage it. I'd say, yep. I was pretty honest with my wife. She was honest with me and said, hey, I got these things, in my past. And we laid it out there.
Yeah.
Some people don't do that. They're horrified to reveal their past, which it's there. It's not going anywhere, right? And if they push back on you doing a background check on them, I'd say that's a big time red flag. So
I would agree. Yeah.
And then if they really love you and they're committed, they'll say, let's do it. I'll sit there when we do it. I'll give them the information. That's a green flag.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's my thoughts on that. So
okay, I like that. I like that a lot because I feel like people, especially people you don't want to you feel like you are kind of breaking into someone's privacy, but you're not. I mean, it is public.
It's public knowledge. It's just we have an aggregator that puts it all in one place for us.
Right.
Another thing, when you're dating the first 1 to 2 years, you're seeing that person's best foot forward, right?
100%.
You may not see them when the chips are down. Things go bad, right? Financially, lose a job, sick child, sick spouse. You don't see them when the chips are down, how they act. So a background check might reveal some of that character to you about what it's like. So
absolutely. What do you think? Random. This is still on the same boat. Same question.
We can do. Today is random day.
Random day. What do you think about prenups?
Prenups. Okay. So prenups. So we do deal with an older clientele sometimes, people that have been married before, and now they built up some wealth, and they're or they have children that's going to inherit some wealth.
Yeah.
And they don't want somebody getting they're mainly trying to protect their children from losing that estate. So if you don't have a prenup, let's say you got a child, right? And you don't have a prenup. Let's say you're wealthy.
Okay, I wish.
Let's
Yeah.
pretend, right?
Let's do that.
Let's pretend like you won the lottery this morning. Say you got a couple $1,000,000 and you've got that set aside in an estate for your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's in a 401k. Your daughter can't touch it until she's 19 or 18, depending on the state you're in. And you get married today without a prenup. Your husband owns half of that.
Right.
So prenup protects that. You're not keeping something from him.
Right.
Now, any wealth y'all build together, yeah, he should get half if y'all break up later. But that couple $1,000,000 you got set aside for your daughter should stay there. That's what a prenup does for you.
I like that. So do you think it's a good idea?
I do think it's a good idea if you're an older person that's established wealth and if you have children already and you have an estate set aside for them.
Yeah.
I say prenup it. So that's just my
That does
opinion.
make
I'm not a
sense.
lawyer, by the way. Not a lawyer.
Facts.
I didn't go to college
Neither.
for 19 years and be weird. But anyways,
Be weird.
I'm just saying it. We'll have a lawyer talk in another episode. But anyways, there's like 3 cool ones in the whole world. The rest are, I don't know, they need some social training. But anyways,
Very weird.
they'll tell you they're weird too.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm not a lawyer, but that's just my experience from dealing with people over the years. So, but
I like that. I think it's good advice,
Mhm.
even for young people and old people. For everybody, it's good
Right.
advice.
so prenup. Back on that thing, an interesting one was Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Y'all remember he got divorced here a few years back.
Yes.
He was the richest man in the world. He got divorced, and then his wife became the 8th richest woman in the world. So that's how he's got a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Now they built that business. Him living in his wife's parents' garage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they didn't have squat
Yeah.
when he started that. So there was no prenup there, right?
Right.
He took a risk and it paid off. So that's why she got so much money.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was living at her parents' place.
Yeah,
doing that.
he built the bookstore in his garage and it became Amazon later. So
Got you.
but,
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah.
online book retailer they called it. So
I guess if we're talking about adultery, can we get into the roughest adultery case? Is there something that was just really hard for you to like push through? I mean, you talked about kids. PIs are mandatory
reporters.
child
Yep.
reporters. Have
Mhm.
you worked in any cases where you're dealing with that and had to call police like on scene or
With
anything?
predators?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say on scene. We didn't see where a child was being attacked or anything. But we have had, this is mainly women,
Mm.
cheat on their husbands with random guys they meet at the bar. And they establish a relationship where we catch them together over and over. And we look at these people up and they are on the list, the
Sex offender.
registry.
Yeah.
We do report that to
Gotcha.
the client now, and then they obviously, report it to the lawyer, which does not look good for the opposition.
Right.
We've not seen it where there's in some custody cases, we have seen where there's people on the sex offender registry that are living in the home, and we do report that.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Where they've started dating somebody and hey, this guy is here. It's usually men. It's on the sex offender registry.
Mhm.
There are a few women, by the way. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Yeah,
Random. This is random.
must be
If you're a
random.
prostitute, it's a woman, you can get on the sex offender registry that way.
Typically not. I don't think so. I don't
okay,
know.
okay.
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
Sex offender registry typically involves sexual assault.
Okay.
So that's your rape and all those things. Where prostitution, you're not typically assaulting anyone.
Right.
Now, but they are sex workers. I don't think that the sex offender registry is unwanted sexual contact.
Gotcha.
So,
that makes
yeah.
sense. Okay.
which the prostitutes, I don't think it's unwanted
Truth.
for the right amount of money, right? So,
Have you ran across more of the kind of child predator people than you thought you would?
we get several that hit the list when we do a background on them. They hit we see them on the registry, and there's a lot. We're out in the country here.
Yeah.
There's about 4 within 5 miles of this house right here. So,
That's so wild.
right.
I think there's a website that you can
The
see.
state of Alabama has it, and there's a national one. I always click on the Alabama one, but there's a
okay.
national one as well. So
That is
you
interesting.
can just Google it, sex offender registry.
And you're out in the boonies and have 4 around you.
Yep. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Trying to think if I have any more adultery questions for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so adultery, we do get quite a bit of those. And there is typically a custody issue involved, so they typically have children in the home as well.
I think a lot of people find it fascinating, the GPS tracking, and that's actually a thing still, and that we really do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
GPS tracking. The state of Alabama this year started a thing where it says if you don't own the vehicle, they had this big thing, but it went. The state Congress got together. If you don't own the vehicle, you can't put a tracker on it. Well, that's been a rule for about 32 years in Alabama. They just made a big deal about it because one of the state senators got caught cheating on his wife and found a tracker on his car. But anyways,
Wow.
and he tried to fight it, but they're like, no, you can't. It's her car too. So in Alabama, if you purchase property, which means a vehicle,
Yeah.
no matter whose name is on the title, you own it 50-50. So you can track the car. So we do use those.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
It seems you see in a movie where you're like, ain't no way that happens in real life, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also do these things called trash grabs, which I never knew about until I started working for you. But trash grabs are pretty cool too.
We do trash grabs, with custody to show how much people's been drinking. Or we did one recently where there's drug paraphernalia in the garbage where the guy straight up a pot dealer.
Yeah.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
The big chief. Anyway, he's selling. You could see his paraphernalia and all this in the garbage where he had his bags of marijuana, and he's fighting for custody of a kid. So that's not going to look good when it comes down to it. So
be careful what you throw away. Right?
How about let's just not
right.
do dope around a kid, right? So
I mean, yeah. Let's start there.
Victoria, come on. So.
That's so funny.
Oh me.
So you don't just collect evidence, you're putting it into a report that can be used in court. You can testify in court if need be.
Yeah, we do testify. So a lot of the times this testimony doesn't come for months or even a year later and we get called. So we have to record it well. We use Crosstracks. I know you're well versed in it. Reporting system.
Yeah.
All the evidence and what the investigators saw is typed up in there. Clients can log in and look at it. Their lawyers can log in and look at it. And then we can print out a nice tight report at the end based off this system to get submitted as evidence. So it's good for us because when I first started, we were using Microsoft Word and notebooks. Very chaotic. And this streamlines everything for us and it makes it easy to use.
Yeah.
We got an investigator in the west side of Mississippi. He sees the same thing I'm seeing here based off that system. So not a lot of emailing back and forth. We just use that system and works great.
It does.
Clients love it. So.
It is a nice system. Works well.
Is that all you got, Victoria?
I think that could possibly be all I have. It's also interesting, though. I know I have better questions.
Well, we got more podcast episodes to get to.
Yes, we do.
And what do you think about the Christmas tree?
I know Macky's wife knows how to decorate.
She loves Christmas. This is not our house. This is actually my office space.
It looks
but she
really
decorates
good.
everything for Christmas. We're like 3 days in front of Thanksgiving, and everything's decorated. Even our home is decorated. So
she's awesome.
She loves it. She's a
good.
Christmas freak, and she does a great job. Some of these are antiques, but let's get the wide view here so you can see it. So.
Ooh, fancy.
All right, so that's all we got. So tune in next time, and we will be talking about child custody. How about that? All right.
I like that.
See y'all.
Peace.